he runs Driving to Top Productions, which Jamie goes live into.
Would you guys, Jeremy, would you take if you like? They are doing acoustic guitar right now. If you would like them to jam for you.
No, thank you. We got a lot of stuff to cover, buddy. But you have fun.
No, I am. I just want to share it to my channel, guys. Great meeting you. Have a good night, guys. And I was trying to get some acoustic play. I mean, if you want to jam out real quick, we're on a podcast right now. Oh,
yeah. We're trying to talk baseball. Chicken nugget.
Oh, we're having a good time out here at the fire tonight, Jeremy. And we just started.
Enjoy.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to share this on my channel, and I thank everyone for tuning in, and we have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Adam. Have fun.
All right,
enjoy
buddy.
the music and enjoy the libations.
All right, I tried.
All right. Bye-bye. He's crazy. Oh, he's having a fun. Oh, the youthful exuberance. I remember being like that, don't you, Claudio?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what the hell happened to my neck. I just woke up and it's a bad neck. So I guess that's what happens when you're ready to turn 62. But I'm okay. I'm still good.
Hey, I'm only 7 behind you.
I'm
older. I'm older, Claudia.
Claudia. That's all right. We'll be all right. Experience is good.
We're good.
Experience is good. Angels begin the rebuild, trading away Logan Ohope and Chase Silseth to head to Texas for Angel Arredondo. And that's a franchise reset move because that was like one of Texas's top prospects. So they gave up a pitcher and a position player to get somebody to build for their future. And I think it's the right move because let's face it, Mike Trout's in the twilight of his career. He can't stay on the field anymore. They don't have the machine of Albert Pujols holding up the first base position, and everything else fell apart ever since they got rid of Shohei. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that was a good move for them to start this rebuild, Jamie?
Yeah, without a question. And like I said, it'll help because, like I said, the rebuilding teams, as you mentioned, if there's a lockout, are going to be able to use these prospects, like I said, to play in the minors if there is a lockout, until they come or if they come to an agreement. So, yeah, the Angels, I think, are actually picking up. This was a perfect year for them, really, to actually start rebuilding and being sellers.
Boston Paul?
Well, I like the move for it was the Rangers, right? I like the move for the Rangers. O'Hop needed a change of scenery, so it was good for both. He needed a change of scenery. He's got a good pop in his bat, and the Rangers could use a catcher, so that was great for the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Claudio?
I agree 1,000%. He needed a change of scenery, and sometimes, what do they say? A new broom sweeps clean. And I think that was a good move for him. Now, I think the Rangers made a great move. The Angels, Clint Hurdle, the old Pirate manager, he used to say, "You are who the back of your baseball card says you are." And when did the Angels really? They haven't done anything great in a long time, in my opinion. Well, a lot of people thought they were going to do this or do that, and they didn't. Maybe it's just an organizational thing. Maybe when people say rebuild, and I don't want anybody to lose their job. I don't mean it like that. But sometimes you have to rebuild, not just – you have to rebuild everything. And again, the Italians have a saying, the fish stinks from the head. If it's bad up top, and I'm not just saying the Angels. I don't mean to pick on them. I'm just talking any organization, any family, any team, whatever. If it's bad up top, it trickles down. They make a bad decision. The owner makes a bad decision with the president. The president makes a bad decision with the GM. The GM makes a bad decision with the coaches. Coaches make a bad, and it just trickles down. So the Angels really have to. Maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea to trade Trout. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they should have traded Trout like last year.
Yeah,
one of his healthier years out of the last 5.
It's only going to diminish. It's only going to diminish unless a team needs a power hitter to get them over the goal line.
At this point, I think he should become a DH and save his
no
body
doubt.
just for the bat.
No doubt.
Because it seems like he gets hurt all the time after making one of those fantastic defensive plays he makes.
Well, when you're that thick, when you're that big, again, you have more muscles to pull. You're a little tighter, you're a little bigger. I mean, when we were growing up, you had a guy like Jim Rice, Willie Stargell, Dave Parker. They were big, but they were still loose. They weren't tight. And, I know Reggie Jackson was a lifter back then. He used to get some hamstring issues. But, the Trout, I agree with you. If they were going to trade him, they should have done it last year, maybe this year. I don't know. But the longer you keep him, the less you're going to get back for him.
I agree.
And if Namath can go to the Rams, if Namath can go to the Rams, if Unitas can go to the Chargers, Montana can go to Kansas City, Babe Ruth goes to Boston. Hey, anybody can go.
Matt Stafford goes to the Rams.
There you go. Right.
Had to go there. Hey, had to throw the Detroit link in there. But these are all the trades that were made this week. I'm just going to go through a quick rundown, and then at the end, and let's not just talk about Twins getting Dean Kramer from the Orioles for Jamanardo Reyes. They also get AJ Minter from the Mets for Bruin Agbayani and Billy Amick. The Orioles then traded because their battery, the catcher position, is so beat up that they were bringing up a AA guy to play the position. So they traded with and I think it's funny because I'm going to say why it's funny. Our DFA to AAA Toledo, Jake Rogers from the Tigers, for right-handed mid-reliever Zane Barnhart, who has actually started closing this year for the Bowie team, their AA affiliate. I like this move because it's a prospect we don't plan on seeing this year. It's somebody that might make it into the AAA with this stuff. He's got a mediocre ERA because he pitches to contact, but yet he still gets swing and miss stuff with his changeup. I like the swing and miss stuff with the changeup because it's one of those 12-6 change with very little side to side, but drop off the table, look like it's a strike, and then it's not, hits the plate. You know what I'm talking about, Claudio.
Oh, of course. Dwight Gooden's curveball was a 12-6.
Yep. And then the Red Sox pick up Jahmai Jones from the Tigers for a player to be named later, and then picked up the guy that you don't want to talk about again for Connolly early. The Phillies add Cameron Misner from the Royals for cash. The Pirates get Ram Marinaccio from the Padres for international bonus pool money. And the Royals acquire Nate Pearson from Astros for Max Martin. Wow, there's been a lot of trades this week. Nobody's sitting still. They're trying to do something. And I like this. When you're not waiting till the last minute and it's a frenzy of trades, which is what teams do when they panic 9 times out of 10, is wait till the last second and just trade for anybody who's available. I like the fact that we're getting a build up to the deadline versus just sitting here waiting all week. What do you think about that, Jamie?
Agreed. Don't mess around. I mean, get right to it. Strike quick. It's all business.
Boston Paul.
Well, there have been some kind of minor moves. The big guys aren't moved yet. You still got the Scoobles, the Peralta, maybe Joe Ryan. I don't think that's going to happen though. Robbie Ray, Miller, Abrams, Arias. You got these guys that they're still going to go. This is going to be really exciting.
Yep. Claudio?
Jeremy, you make a great point. A couple of years ago, about 4 years ago, I needed a new car. So I went to different car dealers, and I didn't have to jump in and accept their deal because a friend of mine let me use his, right? And I had my wife's my other car. I didn't have to jump in right away. I could sit back and wait for the best deal. I didn't have to panic. And that's what you're saying, and I think that's a great point. But I think that, again, some of the trades that have been made are good. It doesn't have to be the splashy ones. Just fill a need, and have a game plan of how you want this team to go. But not only that, I'm a big believer in jumping in because, as we said earlier, it's hard to win a championship. You don't know. Obviously, there may not be baseball next year, and I'm kind of afraid that there might not be. But let's just say there is. You really don't know who's going to be good again next year. You have an idea, but you don't know if somebody's going to get hurt. If somebody, as Sugar Ray Leonard one time when he fought Tommy Hearns the second time, I picked a bad night to have a bad night. They may have a bad year. Right now, you're in the thick of things, like the Pirates right now. They're kind of in the thick of things. Go for it, because people say, well, next year this guy will be better. This guy's coming up. You don't know that. You don't know that. Griffin may get hurt again. He may have a sophomore jinx. Skeens, who I always thought was overrated, may not have a good year. You have no idea. Right now, we only know about right now. Let's go for it right now. And one philosophy that, I do like, the old Oakland A's and the Yankees, they kept their players or they added a free agent or whatever. But at the very least, the Florida Marlins, they would get a bunch of players, win a championship, blow it up. Win a championship, blow it up. Well, it's better. The Pirates, hell, they haven't won one since '79. Tigers haven't won one since '84. So I think we would both take that, at least one championship. But my point is, whatever you can do right now this season, if you're in the thick of things and you're a buyer, buy well. Go for it. Don't worry. I'm not if you can live in the present and keep an eye on the future, that's where you have the special GMs, the ones that make the Hall of Fame. And being here in Pittsburgh, we had fantastic GMs, and Joel Brown, Pete Peterson, Sid Thrift. Those guys were geniuses. And, there's what was the guy that was in Philly and Toronto? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's in the Hall of Fame. Pat Gillen. He was great. Dave Dombrowski's great.
I love Dave Dombrowski. He put together those teams that went to 2 World Series and lost in the 2000s for the Tigers. He tried to get Mike Ilitch a World Series before he passed on, and it didn't work out. And it's a shame. But this the no World Series appearance, I think the last one was 2012, if I remember right. And that was before and I think a couple of years later was when we traded away Verlander and he goes to Houston and wins one. But that's neither here nor there. Oh, God.
I love Dombrowski with the Red Sox, too. I really do.
So here's the bad part. The Tigers drafted a Super Bowl winning quarterback before the Lions did.
Leach?
Pat Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
He was a pitching prospect out of Texas Tech, too.
Yeah, Leach didn't win a Super Bowl. What the hell am I talking about? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I just think that's hilarious that I can say, because Pat Mahomes won one before Matt Stafford did, is what I'm getting at. Oh, it stinks. Let me tell you, being on the butt end of jokes for so many years as a fan of a team that has gone from good heights, because let's face it, everybody wants to call Green Bay Title Town for their 13 championships, but they don't want to acknowledge anybody else's championships from before the Super Bowl era.
Right.
That's kind of not fair.
Well, look at the Pirates. I mean, the Pirates haven't done anything since '79. They had a few sprinkles in the playoffs, but it's been a rough go here. And I've always said, and I'm not being biased, but I think if the Pirates would really make a serious challenge, and if they made the playoffs, that place, PNC Park, would have erupt. And so hopefully this year for them, I mean, I'm not the fan I used to be, obviously, but they should go for it. Whatever it is that you have to do, you have the money. I don't want to hear about that because they have the money. Go after it.
I don't know if you've been watching the pitching lately for the Pirates, but Garrett Jones looks way better than Paul Skeens lately.
Yeah, well, I've said this about Skeens. He's got stuff. I'm not saying he doesn't. He throws hard. I'm not saying he doesn't. But the hitters make him a little bit better than he is. If he were pitching in the 70s, 80s, or 90s with the play, and I guess we'll get to that later, with the play coverage that they had then and the attack mode that they had then, they would hit him pretty good. Now they've changed on him. They've made their adjustments. They're attacking him early. They're not letting the first pitch go down the middle. Let's get him out of the game. Well, hell, by the time he gets out of the game, you're going to be down 3-0. Get him out of the game
Or more.
by attacking.
Right. Yeah, let's actually get into that next headline for you. Analytics versus baseball purity. Is analytics ruining the game? Analytics have changed baseball forever. Some of it's good, but right now it's gone too far. We're seeing hitters coached into one-dimensional approaches, pitchers turned into lab projects, and entire organizations treating players like data points instead of athletes. Hitting purity loss, launch angle obsession, fewer situational hitters, strikeout tolerance, less emphasis on bat-to-ball skills, homogenized swings. Everybody looks the same. And this is something you were talking about, how they're not closing their stance and, really allowing themselves to swing through like they're supposed to. They're doing these uppercuts and dropping their shoulders and dropping the bat and lowering their bat speed to speed it up through the swing. It's kind of weird. That's the type of stuff you're talking about, right, Claudio?
It's absolutely atrocious. And I give opinions and I give facts. The hitting is an absolute joke. It's hard to watch. It's boring. The technique sucks. Their philosophy is bad. The mechanics are bad. Uppercut, let the ball travel deep, get backspin. And then the other thing is, hanging on that back leg. Hitting is already hard. And they made it much harder. And then they go up there and they take the first pitch because they want to get the pitcher out of the game with the pitch counts. Years ago, as I said earlier off the air, James Rodney Richard, who was the star of his time, was facing the Pirates in 79. The Pirates got him out of the game. You know how they got him out of the game? Parker hit a home run. Stargell hit a home run. Bill Robinson hit a triple. Bill Madlock hit a double. John Milner hit a triple. They hit him out of the game. Now they wait in the pitch count. That's terrible. And they have this formula where they get the starter for 5. And years ago when Oakland started that, they had the horses to do that. I say if your pitcher, like the Pirates don't have a great bullpen. If the pitchers are doing well, keep them in. Don't rely on the bullpen so much, okay? But the hitting is atrocious. They fly open. Okay, I don't say necessarily a closed stance. I'm talking about keeping the front side closed, which is your head, front shoulder, hip, front foot. If you stay closed, meaning a right-handed hitter's logo should not be facing the damn pitcher or the shortstop. It should be maybe to the left of the pitcher and to the second baseman, first baseman. You're using your hips. You're not overusing them. It's okay to eat pizza. If you eat pizza every single day, it's not good. Yes, you have to eat, but if you eat too much, it's not good. Yes, you have to use your hips, of course. But the power which they're trying to generate, which is wrong, and it's not an opinion, it's a fact. They say hip, 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 overturn, uppercut. No, my formula is vision equals confidence equals fast hands equals power. If you see the ball well, from the beginning, out of the hand, don't look to see where you hit the ball is what I say. You will stay closed, which retains your power. You'll have play coverage. Your hands are more violent. Why? Because you're more confident. I have my players hitting that boxing heavy bag, and everybody quick. They pound that bag. Why? Because it's stationary, it's tall, it's fat, and they know it's not going anywhere. So they, bam, perfect mechanics. Then they go in the cage and they slow the hands up. Why? Because they don't see the ball well. A hitter will say when he's on a tear, oh, the ball looks like a beach ball. The ball's the same size. You see it sooner and longer. A basketball player, oh, man, I'm on fire. Why? The basket looks like a big old bucket. It's the same size. Vision. Vision equals confidence equals fast hands. Not this. I'm really still good at hitting a fungo. I can't throw a ball to my damn self and hit down on it, okay, to create backspin. That is an absolute lie. An absolute lie. It's hard enough to hit the ball, let alone the lower half. Just hit the damn ball. I say cut the bat is a knife. Cut the ball in half, okay? And then do some homework, fans of the show. Go watch Willie Stargell with no shirt on. Put that on YouTube. Willie Stargell, no shirt. Whenever Willie would open up, the bat would drop and drag. He'd flip it. Whenever he stayed closed, he killed it. Kirk Gibson's 1988 home run, perfect at bat. Steps to go get it, stays closed, head on the ball, boom, home run. And then go look at this week in baseball, 1978, 79. Look at the play coverage those guys had. Look at the head discipline those guys had. Like you said, copycat or homogenized. These guys now, they're on that back leg. They're off balance. Because when you're on the back leg, you're ready to go. You've already committed pretty much, and you have to go. Okay, that's why they're swinging at pitches out of the hand that aren't even a strike. I mean, I could go on and on and on. A decent, not even decent pitcher could throw 4 innings and get 7 strikeouts. Where years ago, a big-time Cy Young pitcher would pitch 9 innings and get 7 strikeouts. And it's not because the pitching is better. Every hitter wants to hit a fastball. Back in our day, there was a lot more curveballs and changeups, and they pitched. If you want to listen to Tom Seaver, listen to him talk about the art of pitching. Beautiful, mesmerizing. Okay, he would throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, then a 78-mile-an-hour changeup. Okay, they changed speeds, they changed eye levels, they back you off the plate, then they throw a ball on the outside part of the plate. Nowadays, they just heave it as hard as they can, and the mechanics are bad. But the hitters make the pitchers great because they're flying open. Their head's over here. The ball is over here. What the hell do you look? That's like me. I'm looking into the camera. Well, if I'm looking over here, Jeremy, you're going to say, Claudio, look in the camera. I'm over here. The ball's here. What is your head doing over here? And then uppercutting, you got one shot to hit the ball. It's physics. The ball's coming this way. You're going like that. If you hit it good, yeah, you might get a home run, but you're going to pop or strike out or foul it off. If you throw the bat towards the pitcher and keep closed, you have a shorter swing, you have more points of contact, okay, because the bat's in the same plane as the damn ball. You got a shot to. That's why there was a lot of 330 hitters and 350 hitters. People say it's because of the pitching. No, the hitters were good. Now there's 7 hitters batting 300.
Right.
And all hitters want to hit a fastball. Okay, so it's the same now. But hitting, I can go on and on and on. The hitting is brutal. The analytics have ruined the game. Okay, if a few years ago, Blake Snell was dominating the Dodgers, and they take him out. Last year, long story short, we're playing a very good team. It's won our conference championship. The pitcher in the other team was really good. We were winning 1-0. He was up to 80 pitches. They took him out. And my shoulders just, oh, my God, thank God he got up. My pitcher, who works for the Red Sox now, Jake Sherwin, he's 5'5", 140 pounds, soaking wet. He was up to 130-some pitches, whatever. I kept him in because the goal was to win, not to see how many pitches Jake could throw or not throw. We won that game 6-0. If I would have taken Jake out, we didn't have a great bullpen. We would have lost, guaranteed we would have lost. When we came home from school, Jeremy, did you ask your dad or whoever, hey, did Jack Morris, how many pitches did Jack Morris throw today?
Nobody
or did
cared.
they win? Nobody cared.
Right.
And those guys didn't get hurt because they threw long toss. They believed in stretching like mad. They weren't into the weightlifting. Weightlifting was a swear word years ago. And they used a lot of legs, as you mentioned earlier in the show or before the show. They used their legs. These guys, they're just firing it up there as hard as they can, stripping their arms up. Prevention is better than cure. Prevent the arm injuries. Ease up on the weights. Stretch. There's a lot of golfers, David Duval, a couple other ones, who lift. They get hurt. CC Sabathia said, I never had a pulled muscle because I never had one. But the analytics have ruined the game. There's guys pitching no hitters, perfect games. They take them out. Go do that to Bob Gibson. Go do it to Jim Palmer. Go
do it to Sandy Koufax or Catfish Hunter.
There you go. Jim Palmer was the most beautiful pitcher I ever watched. Yeah, good-looking guy, obviously, but his motion with that big wind-up and loose, he was a tremendous athlete, smooth. Who is like that now? Greg Maddux looked like he was bored up there, and that ball, boom. Or you had the Roger Clemens throw a fastball, then the splitter. You know, it's just those guys would forget about the Hall of Famers I just mentioned, but the second tier, the Louis Tiants, the Jim Rookers and the Candelarias, and that's no knock on them. They would dominate Dick Ruffin. They would Frank Tanana. They would dominate these guys today. Dominate because the hitters, and I blame the coaches. Everything's like this. Just watch. Watch when a hitter hits the ball. Okay, his chest, the righty, is either first baseman, second baseman, maybe to the left of the pitcher. But when he's facing the pitcher and shortstop, he's done. Lefty, when he's facing the shortstop, maybe third baseman, shortstop,
Right.
maybe the right of the pitcher. Yeah, they're
I get
close.
what you're saying about the power hitters, and I was talking about there's those few people that are the situational hitters who do know how to position their body in that open position, but their body's still closed when they start their swing. And I'm trying to explain it to where I know what you're getting at. When you're saying your body is closed, your shoulder is almost closed to the pitcher.
Yeah, front side. Yeah. Now the closed stance, like a George Hendrick, guys like that, where their front foot was closer to the mound. Yeah, that's terrific too. And the reason why they did that was because when they stepped earlier, they would step towards the shortstop. So they put their foot closer to the plate. So when they did step, naturally, they would step towards the pitcher, not towards the shortstop, which enabled them to stay closed. Staying closed retains your power, gives you better plate coverage. It makes the bat quicker to the strike zone, to the plate, to the ball, and it helps with your head, and it retains your power. And I always say these long swings, I'm more apt to I have more of a chance to get into an accident, or Jeremy has more of a chance to get an accident, go from Detroit to Pittsburgh than he does from where he lives, Flint to Lansing. It's
right.
a shorter distance.
But Claudio, so I like I used to open my stance facing a right-handed pitcher because I could see the ball come out of the plate, right? As a left-handed pitcher, I go close stance if it was a lefty.
Okay.
I'm a righty batter. I personally saw the ball better coming out of the guy's hand if I had a little bit of an open stance.
Yes. Well, it's funny you said that. Right-handed, I was more conventional. Left-handed, I had an open stance because I could see better. But when I hit, I didn't say stance. I'm talking about when you actually hit the ball. Okay.
He's talking about how your shoulders are facing. Your shoulders and your chest.
When you hit the ball, though, I guarantee you, if you had an open stance like a Canseco or a Rod Carew somewhat, when you hit the ball, I guarantee you weren't like this. Okay. You started with an open stance, but you stepped towards the pitcher and you were closed. Now, like I said earlier, like today was warm in Pittsburgh. Some people would say it was blazing hot. Some people would say it was comfortable. Everyone's degree of closed is different. Right-handed, my degree of closed was in between first baseman and the second baseman. Lefty, I would open up facing the pitcher. But when I hit the ball, my logo was facing the shortstop, and I bet you yours was about that too. I'm sure when you hit the ball, your head and your shoulders were not facing the second baseman.
No.
It's two different things. The stance is one thing, okay? Because, the stance is one thing. And I also did a toe tap lefty, which if you told me to do it right-handed, I couldn't do it. But hitting the ball, keeping your front side closed when you hit the ball I'm not talking about the stance in that part of it.
Right.
You're
That's why I made sure I explained it the way I meant earlier.
Yes.
Instead of the way it came across, I wanted to explain it properly, and that way you'd understand exactly what I was talking about. For a position, a place hitter is what I'm talking about, a situational guy. The guy that's going to get you a 280 to 310 in the batting average because he's going to put the ball where the players aren't.
Well, what did Napoleon Lajoie say? Hit him where they ain't. Or Cap Anson, one or the other. They say hit him where they ain't. Yeah, and now that's another thing. They shift. That shift, I know they kind of adjusted it. They'll hit the ball right there. It's crazy. Now, there was a game, 1978. Look it up, YouTube. Phillies against the Mets. Just a regular old game. Richie Hebner, former Pirate and former Detroit Tiger from Boston. He went 4 for 5. He was a dead pull hitter. Dead. But that game against the Mets, he bunted, and he hit 3 balls to left field. The next day, the game that was on YouTube, they played him straight away. Nowadays, they'll put the whole damn team on the right side, including the guy selling the beer, and that guy's the shortstop's playing right field. He'll hit the ball. There's nobody there in left field.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
doing?
That's what I'm talking about. If you're a dead pull hitter, if you position your feet right, you won't be.
That's the thing. And some people say, I never mess with timing. So what we said earlier, either you position your feet, or if you move up in the box or move further, there's different adjustments you can make, but they don't do it. And as far as your original thing, the analytics, again, I remember me and my daughter went to Skeens' first game. And the first pitch he threw was like 101, I think. And the rotation was, 26 thing in the vertical. And I heard people, man, look at his verticals. Oh my God. I mean, again, back to the Blake Snell thing. They took him out because 75 pitches and the vertical is this and the vertical and the velo exit. Oh, come on. O'Neill Cruz is the perfect example. The announcers, he hit 110 mile an hour line drive to center field. It's the hardest hit ball all season. Great. He went 0 for 4. He's hitting 230.
Mm-hmm.
I had a player on my team, Adam Gruber, great kid. He never hit a ball. Every ball he hit was barely over the shortstop's head. He hit one home run. He hit like 330 every year. Keep doing it, Adam. I don't give a damn. O'Neill Cruz, yeah, he's got a lot of numbers by him. The exit velo, and when he throws from the outfield, it's 190 mile an hour. That's terrific. Is he accurate? No. Is he hit consistently? No. Give me Biggio any day, who probably didn't have good exit velo, who didn't have a humongous arm, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He didn't do too bad. I always say this. You guys might not remember a guy named David Green. He played for St. Louis. He had all the tools in the world. All the tools in the world. Never.
Teammate of Ozzie Smith.
I'm sorry?
Teammate of Ozzie Smith, right?
No. I think you said something Ozzie Smith.
Yeah. Was he a teammate of his?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you said the name, back then I collected a lot of baseball cards. So I know names of players that played together is what I was getting at.
Yes. I'm sorry. It kind of faded out there. But great build, cannon for an arm, could fly. Nobody ever heard of him. Phil Garner, 5'10", probably ran the 60 in about 7'3", 7'4", where David Green probably ran it in about a 6'7", 6'8". Phil Garner had great usable speed. He knew how to steal a base. Phil Garner knew how to position himself in the field. And that Phil Garner never he played for obviously he was with the Tigers. He never made a great play in his life because he was positioned. Joe DiMaggio, they said he never made a great play. Why? Because he ran the spots. He knew where the ball was. Okay. Right. Those guys have an instinct. They use their abilities properly. So I know when we have camps, okay, trial camps, the first day you see a guy run a 6'8", 60. Okay. Then you see him throw. Okay. You put a little check mark on him. Then you see him the next day in a game, you erase him out. Jim Leland said, give me the players who are good after the national anthem, not before.
Right. It's kind of like when I talk about the combine for the NFL.
Yes.
All those numbers are great, but the Pajama Olympics doesn't happen when the pads are on.
Great line. Very true. You need to get Bernie Kosar didn't have a big arm, didn't have any foot speed, didn't have anything. It didn't have the great Rob Johnson from Buffalo. He's 6'4", good looking guy, tall guy, had great mechanics. Give me Bernie Kosar any day. Okay. Doug Flutie throw sidearm. He'd run this way, give me Doug Flutie any day. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a few perfect quarterbacks, Dan Marino, Joe Montana. Joe Namath was perfect. Dan Marino, perfect. But, not everybody's going to do that. Okay. But you give me the guy who gets results. I want the guy who gets results. Rob Johnson, again, 6'4", big arm, look good. But in the game, give me Doug Flutie any day.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's get into the pitching side of it because I want to talk a little bit about that too. The pitching purity loss. Over-engineered pitch design, less natural feel, velocity worship, more injuries, shorter outings, fewer true pitchers, and more throwers. Game impact, less creativity, less unpredictability, less baseball instinct, and more spreadsheets than scouting. What I'm talking about here is like everybody's so enamored with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball and the guys that can throw it for 5 straight innings. And I'm going to get into something that you mentioned, the beach ball effect.
Hmm?
It used to be you didn't get the beach ball effect from a pitcher until he was gassed, when he slowed down his rotation and everything, because his arm wasn't and he wasn't throwing as hard as he used to. And you literally could see the ball slow down, and you could actually almost watch the seams come at you, and you knew you were hitting that ball. You know what I'm talking about, Claudio?
I do. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I know what you mean.
But that's what I mean. You could actually see the ball slow down.
And but see, here's the thing, though. Those guys back then, okay, and I know I sound like an old man, and that's fine. But if music was better then than it is now, it's the truth. I mean, that's an opinion, but I'm telling you, you had guys back then. Louis Tion, when he first came up with Cleveland, he could throw hard, but he got hurt. He wanted to stay in the game. So what did he do? That crazy motion, right? Or you had a guy like Sid Fernandez who played with the Mets. He was that lefty, and he would go like this, and he would lull you to sleep, and he'd have that very slow motion. I was like, whoa, right? And then he'd throw maybe 93. He'd throw a changeup 76, and then 92 looked like a 97. Okay, but you at the outset you hit that perfectly. Everything you said, but nowadays. Okay, let's take in consideration those guys as they, first of all, their arms were in great shape. They showed a game from, again, 79. Jim Bibby, 6'6", 6'7", in his day was one of the hardest throwers. In the first inning, they clocked him back then, which was a big deal, 93, which was probably about 95, 96. And they clocked it back then when it hit the glove. The eighth inning, he threw 95. Okay. He was still throwing hard. The changeup got slower.
Right.
Okay. But the guys like Don Sutton, Jack Morris, I can go on and on. The pitchers, okay. Let's just say, for the sake of arguing, that maybe their arms did get a little bit tired in July and August because they racked up a lot of innings. Do you know what they? You know why they still won? They pitched. They knew how to pitch. They would pitch backwards. They would start off the pitch with a changeup instead of a fastball. And their command of their pitches were great. If they wanted to hit the outside corner, they'd hit the outside corner. Okay, so again, they were pitchers. That you said the word throwers. These guys, everybody gets enamored with the speed. But what they don't, there was a guy named Kyle Farnsworth, I believe his name was, pitched for the Yankees, Cubs, Pirates. Now he's like
Detroit.
a big bodybuilding. Detroit, okay, you know who he is. Back then, he was one of the few guys who consistently threw 100. And I'm not insulting the guy. Hell, he was a major leaguer. But they used to say that they used to send a limo to pick him up because they wanted that fastball. Okay, it was the guys who, like the knuckleball. Why is the knuckleball so good? Because you can't time the damn things all over the place. Burt Blyleven, he probably never threw a fastball over 92, but he had that crazy curveball. Okay, there was a guy who pitched for the Pirates and White Sox. He had not a good career, but somebody who played with him and coached him said that guy had more talent maybe than anybody I ever saw. That was Jose De Leon. Every game when he came up, almost no hitter, and he looked like he was barely trying. He didn't throw hard, movement, and those guys had great swings. Movement.
Right.
You know. And that's hard to hit. You don't know where the hell the ball's going.
Right. And that's what I look for in these newer hard throwers that we have, is if they have that old style movement and placement versus just throwing hard. Tariq Skubal, I'm not saying he's as great as the ones were back then, but he's probably one of the closest hard throwers that can control his stuff to like the old pitchers because his mechanics are so sound. The problem is when he throws that slider that he developed with the Tigers, that's when he's putting that torque on his elbow, which is caused his 2 Tommy John surgeries to be needed in his career. And the last one, they left some loose stuff behind, which is what they had to clean up this year. That's why he missed May. But now look at him right now. I think he's second or third in AL Cy Young voting.
Yeah,
with missing a month.
No, you're right on the head. You hit it on the head. And like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. These guys are all talented, but they could be better. They could be better. So you say, well, why is this guy? He's going to be an MVP. He's an all-star. This guy. I say this, and I know Otani's another one, greatest thing that ever lived. I get it, but he's got a lot of holes in his swing. If they knew how to hit him, if they knew how to hit those holes, he'd be in trouble. So I'll say this. I'll put it to you this way, Jeremy. Let's say me and you we want to go golfing, and neither one of us is good. We're both terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a hacker. I admit it.
Well, but let's say we're even, I do okay sometimes. But anyway,
right.
Let's say both of us are terrible. One of us has to win. One of us has to win. Or if you see, if me and you see on YouTube, they show these idiots fighting. They can't throw a punch to save their life. But one of them is going to win. Okay, right. Somebody's going to get an MVP. Somebody's going to hit a home run. Somebody's going to have a strikeout. So, in my opinion, and forgive me, I know I don't mean to criticize the game or anything like that because I love the game. It's been my entire life. My mom used to say if there was a ball in the air, you can be sure Claudio was underneath it. I love the history of the game. I cry whenever they show they get the gathering of the 50 greatest players of all time, like they did in Boston, several '99. I got emotional. Yeah. I love the game, but what the product that I see now. The product, I had something to compare it to. So do you.
Right.
When I see Palmer, Aaron, Mays, Stargell, Ripken, Tony Gwynn,
Jackson.
Boggs, Wade Boggs, Darrell Evans, I can mention Hall of Famers, I can mention the mid. I see those guys and I see now, and I talk to a lot of those guys and I ask them questions and I shut up, believe it or not. And I let them talk. I want to hear what they have to say. They would have loved to have played today. The pitchers especially. They would have loved to play today.
You know who wouldn't with those hard throwers? Because it is harder to see them. I think the older hitters wouldn't like the new pitchers as hard as they throw because when you're pitching at that 95 to 105 miles an hour, it is harder to see the ball. It looks like a BB coming at you.
Well, you make a good point, but the thing about those guys, that's why I say go watch YouTube This Week in Baseball. Yeah, they're throwing harder now. That's for sure. More of them are throwing harder, without question. But the reason why those guys would still do well is because their mechanics were so great. Right. Their vision was great. Their head, these hitters, that's what I'm trying to say. These hitters are making a mid-level pitcher, a half pitcher. I won't mention names, but he'll throw 5 innings, he'll have 8 strikeouts, right? Where, again, the older pitchers back when we grew up, they had 8 strikeouts in a game. It was a big deal, okay? But the older hitters, the Boggs, or go back further to a Stargell or a Jackson or a Sal Bando or a Darrell Evans or who I can go further back, or Kirk Gibson, Roberto, whatever those guys. But their head discipline was phenomenal. Their plate coverage was phenomenal. So they would have adjusted. They would have. I have a bat. I should show you. I have a Dave Parker bat, and I have some other pro bat. Manny Sanguian. It's a club. It's a club. But speaking of Sanguian, those guys, they were called good bad ball hitters. If you remember that phrase.
Yep.
They could hit any damn pitch. They would pull an outside pitch. They'd hit an inside pitch to right field. You couldn't get them out. You couldn't say we could throw this guy this pitch and he won't hit it. But they would make adjustments. They would use a lighter bat. They would use a longer bat. They would use a bat with the hole up on top. And I can show you. I have some here in my house. Or they would choke up. They'd back up in the box. They would make adjustments. Trust me when I tell you. I'm not being biased to those old guys. But I'm telling you, they would hit the guys. I know what you're saying about the BB, and you're right. But if you make adjustments and you have great mechanics, you got a shot. And I think they have a great shot.
Right. And you're right. Absolutely right. The other thing I wanted to say is The only thing that I don't like about what they're doing to modern pitchers, and I've noticed in the last few years there are more pitcher injuries, is this pitch clock. I understand using it in the beginning of the game, but if you got a pitcher that's pitching at that set 30 seconds between pitches for 3 straight innings, give them a 5-second more break for 3 innings after that. Make it a 35-second clock. That little extra beat might be the difference between a guy blowing out his elbow or his shoulder.
That's a great point. And, all these little things, that's a great point. But also, we talked about before the mechanics.
Mhm.
Saying drop and drive is a swear word now. Okay. Those guys used their legs. Okay. Ryan, Gooden, Seaver, Palmer. Did they have
Morris?
I'm sorry?
Morris. Yeah,
No,
I
Zach
know.
Morris, of course. Now Frank Tanana played for Detroit. When he came up with California, what? He threw gas, right? He got hurt. What did he do? He had even a better career because he became a pitcher. He made the
Right.
adjustments. He
He could still throw that hard pitch if he needed to,
Sure.
but he developed a changeup that had a 20-mile-an-hour difference in speed, and then he developed
Yeah.
a curveball that was 15
Yeah.
mile an hour less than his fastball.
Exactly.
And I think he even did a cut fastball that was like 7 miles an hour slower. He
Right,
had
and
a
it
4-pitch
moved.
repertoire, and it
Right,
moved more.
It moved. But that's what you said earlier. You made a great point. They throw so hard that the ball doesn't have time to move. Okay.
Right.
Those guys were pitchers, and those guys were hit. They got hit and they were good, but that's why I say the hitters back then would love these guys to throw straight
Okay.
fastballs. That's what I'm saying. But the mechanic, that's why there's all these injuries. If you're pitching less, okay, now Jim Rooker, I'll use him again. Jim, some years he threw 14 complete games, 13 complete games, 12 complete games. Now there won't be 12 in the whole damn season.
Right.
I mean, the whole league, whatever. They take these guys out, and I don't think their arms are in shape. They're baby too much. Again, I'll use the analogy again. If you walk a mile every single day, you hit a wall. That's it. Now, if you walk a mile, then a mile and a half, then 2 miles, then 3 miles, now we got something. And again, back when we were growing up, if you remember, the pitchers would run foul pole to foul pole, foul pole to foul pole, and they would throw. Long toss, because that extends your arm and your muscle. It strengthens your arm. Roger Clemens said if he were talking to a kid today, he would one of the things he would have him do is do long toss and run. Look at his legs. Okay, so
Tree trunks.
yeah, exactly. But the mechanics, and here's the problem. Somebody from you say, well, everybody's hanging on that back foot. Everybody's pitching this way. They just homogenized. Everybody's doing it, Claudio, and everybody's saying they use their hip, Claudio, except you. And you guys are saying mechanics. Well, Jeremy, your first name is Jeremy. If everybody in Michigan, and everybody in Pittsburgh, and everybody in St. Louis or Rhode Island says your first name is Owen, it still is an Owen.
Right.
Okay. The Italians have a saying: if 50,000 people say a stupid thing, it's still a stupid thing. Okay. These guys are a Division I coach or a major league coach, major league manager. Well, what do you call a guy who finished last in med school? You call him a doctor. Okay. So I don't want to hear that. It's just the product is not what it could be. Yeah. Are they bigger and stronger? Of course. Terrific. Who cares? But
The batters,
it's just
the
not
batters
the
I love
same
right
product that I grew up watching.
Right. The batters that I love right now play the game the way it used to be. I love Kevin McGonigal. And after watching the replay of the highlights from last night, Max Clark, his approach at the plate, because it's more of the level swing you're talking about with that closed shoulder to the pitcher and, a compact swing using the whole plate. They're hitting to all fields. They're not just trying to swing uppercut at something. And we're talking about 2 rookies.
Right.
McGonigal was called up to start the season. Max Clark was called up 2 days ago, played his first game last night, and went 3 for 4 with 2 ribbies.
Yeah.
Why? Because he had a nice drive to left center where it cleared between the defenders, and drove in 2 runs. What more can you ask out of a rookie than to come in and have a nice level swing, compact, full of power, the way you want it to be seen?
And somebody will ruin him because they're going to want him to have vertical explosion, exit velo, and somebody
Yeah, I
will ruin
know.
him. And then he'll end up hitting 220, which is a shame.
The Tigers, the last great hitting coach they had was Gates Brown.
Gates Brown was look when he came up. Look when he came up.
I know. That was one of the best hiring Sparky did for the Tigers, is when he brought Gates Brown in when he took over.
That's right.
And then, everybody says, well, who's this guy? That we had Lloyd McLennan as a hitting coach. I said, no. I said, yeah, sure, the guy could hit a home run 1 out of every 50 at bats. The problem is he only hit 2 out of 10.
Yeah, Dave Kingman would have been a megastar today, and they used to criticize the hell out of him years ago. He'd hit his share of monster home runs. He hit about 215, 220. Now he may possibly be top 5 highest paid players in the game. And they criticize Dave Parker, who may have been he was the top 2-3 players I ever saw visually in person. Well, I just saw it play. I didn't see Clemente play, obviously. But whenever he was in Pittsburgh hitting 265, they booed the hell out of him. O'Neal Cruz hitting 250. Man, he's a star. He's a star?
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I love that 270 and up hitter. That's somebody that knows how to hit. That's somebody that knows how to hit. You can start getting to 265, you're average at best.
I'm with you.
And then if you're below 250, God help you.
One time I went to a game in 1987. I went to a Pirate game with my dad. They were playing the Padres. Tony Gwynn hits the game-leading home run, which eventually won the game for them. As he's rounding the bases, he's hitting the first base coach's hand. He's upset. Third base coach, he's upset. And he stomps on home plate, and he walks towards the dugout. Stan Savran, a very well-known reporter here, he passed away, good guy. He interviewed him. He said, Tony, you hit that home run in the 7th, and that ended up being the game-winning home run. But you seem very upset when you round the bases. He says, Stan, if I swing like that all the time, I'm going to be a 330 hitter, not a 360 hitter, which was a great line. But he knew that if he had that, he dropped his shoulder. He was a little tired. It was in August. If he dropped that shoulder, hit those fly balls, still 330 ain't bad, right? But he knew that he had to fix it. And that was after a home run.
Right. And they don't make those adjustments anymore, the modern batter.
No.
It's funny, I mentioned McGonigal, and what does he do with his first at-bat in the game today? Hits a home run.
There you go.
And it's funny because they talk about Dingler with his max velocity, Riley Green with his, and Kerry Carpenter with his. Kevin McGonigal, every single home run has been under 100 miles an hour. It's just a nice pure swing where you hit it on the screws and the ball carries.
There's a count. Remember they used to say years ago, if you hit a blooper or a shot in the papers, it's a line drive. A hit's a hit.
That's right. A hit's a hit. I've been a McGonigal fan ever since we drafted him because I did some research on him. Did you get a chance to read that scouting profile I sent you?
I apologize. I did not. I apologize. I did not.
I like this kid. I think he's going to be something special because he's taught in that different realm in the European Baseball League where he hasn't been ruined by exit velocity and launch angle and all that stuff.
Great point. For me, it looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of holes in his swing, and they will try to find them. And again, that was my first assignment as a scout for a company our company was Global Scouting Bureau, was brought in from Inside Edge. And people say baseball is a slow game. No, it's not a slow game at all. When you have to dictate the type of pitch, the speed, location, where it was hit and how hard it was hit. And if it wasn't hit, why wasn't it hit? And I remember they said, go to the stadium and watch it. I said, no, I'm going to stay at home and watch it. And I had to replay. It would take me well over 4 hours to watch a game because these reports would go to the managers and I wanted to be accurate. But anyway, my point is the holes in these, and this was in 2001, there's a lot more holes now in Major League Baseball. And it won't take long. Just from the things I told you guys today, hopefully you enjoyed it and hopefully something will stick that I said. But watch a game, watch a hitter. Watch when they uppercut. I don't have to tell you guys. You guys watch more baseball than I do. When you uppercut, you got one shot to hit that ball. So now your hole is middle, up, outside. And that's not an opinion, it's a fact. But you get a guy like Kirk Gibson, watch that home run. It was an outside pitch. Now, he stepped, and I always use the phrase, hit like a first baseman fields. A first baseman on a ball that's thrown away from him, what's he do? He steps and gets it, and he makes the bad throw not as bad. When a hitter steps towards the ball, he makes the outside pitch not as outside. I don't care that he pulled it for a home run. I'm sure Tommy Lasorda didn't care either. Okay? He didn't say, damn it, Kirk, why didn't you hit the ball to left field? I do know an independent league player who told me this story in my house. He hit a pinch hit double that drove 2 runs in, gave the team a lead. It was an outside pitch, hit it to left center field. And the coach takes his hat off, steps on top of the steps, and he says to the kid, yeah, I'm going to bench you when you get back in here. The kid laughed, and the guys in the dugout laughed. When he came in, he grabbed him. He said, you're sitting down. I said, really? He goes, yeah, that was an outside pitch, and you hit it to left center. And a book rule double. What do you care? I don't understand that. The game anymore, is it to win, or is it to hit the opposite field, or is it to have 30 pitches? The Pirates had a kid last week, Montgomery, I believe he threw 7 pitches. 7 pitches. Got 3 outs. They pulled him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have that system where you have great setup men and a Hall of Fame closer, yeah, the hell with it. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. But if your bullpen sucks, okay, and the rest of your like even the Skeens is not having a Skeens year, but him at 50% is better than his bullpen at 100%. I'll give you one story that happened to me several years ago. We were playing Indiana, and they would kill in Florida. They would kill us every year, which they should have. Well, this one year, we were winning 7-0. It was in Florida. We were winning 7 non-conference, obviously. We're winning 7-0. I had my best pitcher, Darren Kerfoot. Great pitcher, great competitor, good kid. We're winning 7-1, 7-3, 7-5. We lost 8-7. I was depressed because we had them, but we lost. And I kept Darren in the entire game. Darren Kerfoot and this is no offense to that team because I loved that team. That was one of my favorite teams ever. Wonderful people who I still keep in touch with. But anyway, Darren Kerfoot at 50% was better than my top bullpen guy at 120%. So just because it says to go to the bullpen, I'm not going to go. So I can live with losing with my best. Now, if I would have had, like when Gossage came in against George Brett years ago, and he gave up the big home run, or when Dick Williams brought in San Diego, who hit the home run for Detroit? You should know that off of Gossage. Was it Gibson? I believe. Am I frozen here? Okay.
No. I was just thinking.
I think it was Gibson. And they said Sparky told Gibson, remember it was a very thing, he didn't want to walk you. He doesn't want to walk you. You remember that, Jeremy?
Yeah, it was versus Gossage, yeah.
Yeah, and he hit a home run. You know what? The hell with it. Gossage is Gossage. The Mets were playing in the series. What's that guy's name? The Dark Knight, the pitcher.
Doc?
I forgot his name. The Dark Knight was his nickname. Anyway, Terry Collins comes in. He was a competitor and a half and a hell of a pitcher. Terry Collins comes in to take him out. He says, no. He was very respectful. No, I got him. I want the ball. Terry Collins said, are you sure? Yes, I want him. I got him. He's okay. He turns around, gives up a home run. You know what? Terry Collins can live with it. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with my best. Is Skeens your best? Yes. Is the bullpen your best? Hell no. I don't understand the analytic. But see, the problem is, as I referred back to the Blake Snell thing with the Dodgers, somebody from up top, somebody who graduated with a ton of degrees, comes to school.
This
comes
many
to
pitches saves the pitcher's arm.
Yeah. The goal is to win. Okay. Remember Herm Edwards? We played to win the game.
Yes.
Right? Not to see how many damn pitches we can throw and not throw. And even if the guy's getting hammered, they keep him in until he reaches that pitch count. Then they take him out. Try to win the game, please. Try to win the game. Don't worry about the analytics because that's all. Use it as baseball is the number one stat. I don't know how many Barry Bonds has, but Hank Aaron hit 755. Babe Ruth hit 714. Reggie Jackson hit 563. Stan Musial had, I think he had 15. No, he had the exact amount of hits away than he did at home. You know, my point is baseball is a stat game, and I love it. Barry Sanders, I bet you're a Barry Sanders fan. You don't know how many yards he has career. We don't know how many yards Emmitt Smith has leading all time, right? So baseball is the ultimate stat game. And if you want to use analytics as a reference, as to maybe help you a little bit, okay. But don't just look, my wife doesn't know anything about baseball, but if she sees that this guy's hitting, 210 after 30 at bats or whatever, all right, anybody can see that. Use some gut. Sparky Anderson used gut. Dick Williams, Chuck Tanner, nobody used more gut than Chuck Tanner. I love Chuck Tanner. Tony La Russa was a great X's and O guy. So I can go on and on. But today, the manager is just, he gets a piece of paper. Can you imagine Billy Martin, Dick Williams, Whitey Herzog, Cito Gaston, Hal McRae, Dick Hauser, again, Chuck Tanner, any of those guys? Can you imagine when they walked into their locker, their office, and somebody had a lineup in front of them and saying, your starting pitcher is only going to go 60 pitches today, and your middle relief guy is only going to throw 15. And you're going to start Jeremy at third, batting him third, even though he usually bats cleanup. Billy Martin would have fought you. The other guys would have cussed you out. Like, I could give you the Pirates 79 lineup like that because it was steady. It was consistent. Okay. Now they have a leadoff here guy who bats last. Then he bats first. O'Neill Cruz will bat cleanup. He'll bat first. Then he'll bat sixth. Then he'll bat third. It's, for me, again, Roberto Clemente always used to use that phrase, for me. I will state facts and I'll state opinions. It's kind of a fact, but I'll cut them a break. Opinion-wise, I like it that you guys are into the game so much. I like that. I miss that for me. Every Saturday I'd walk in this house and I'd look at the newspaper and they'd have like the top 100 hitters, right? And you look or see where your guy is or how many strikeouts the guy would have or whatever. And I just soaked it all in. And I loved it. And I still love what I do. But the product that's on TV is just not as good as it used to be, in my opinion.
All right. Yep. I agree. Is ABS improving Major League Baseball or not? Well, the balls and strikes, it's roughly been correcting 92 to 95. I think I said it averages out to about 93.2% of traditional Empire mistakes have been corrected since this started. There's quite a few teams that are really good at it. There's one that's really bad, and I won't name them because that's just rude. But here's the real question. Is it actually improving the game? Some hitters love the consistency. The pitchers hate losing the art of stealing a strike.
Right.
And fans, they're split. ABS brings precision, but it also strips away the human element, the personality, the feel, and the drama that's been part of baseball for over a century. Do you agree with the way some of the fans do, or do you agree with the hitters that you like the fact that it corrects these bad pitches that are being called strikes?
Okay, if you're asking me, if my team's batting and I win the challenge, I love it. If my pitcher's pitching, I don't love it, right? And on the umpire side, remember Deckinger, who blew a call. Remember the guy who blew a call for the no-hitter, a perfect game for the Marlins.
No Galarraga.
Yeah, and he cried. if they would have had instant replay or ABS or whatever, then that would have been changed and those guys would have been off the hook. So, there's pros and cons. Do I like it as a fan's point of view? Again, if it's in your favor, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's such, I've even been criticized, to be honest with you, that I'm very demonstrative when I coach. I'm very passionate. My name ends in a vowel. I don't just sit there and watch the game go by. I'm hands-on with everything. I'm very passionate. I motivate. I the whole 9 yards. I've never been kicked out of a game. The only time I've ever argued with an umpire is if he got mouthy with me and showed me disrespect. Then I got mad. Okay. But over a call, I will tell him, I'll say, hey, his foot was in the bag and he tagged him high. I will tell him about his mistake, but I won't embarrass him. I won't make a big scene, kick dirt, take my hat off. I don't do that, Gar. That's for theatrics. So, or even on some bad pitches, he's going to miss one or two. Now, if he misses them consistently, I'll tell him, you know what? You're not giving him the outside or that one pitch and you're squeezing or whatever the case is. You can, you can be respectful. But as far as ABS, at the end of the day, you want to get things right because really it's going to benefit both teams in the long run. I say I'm good with it, and I think it's good for the game.
All right.
I think I'm okay with it. I know you missed the arguing and all that kind of stuff.
No. I didn't want the
not
argument.
you.
I wanted to know.
You.
You mean the fans wanting the managers to be up there chest bumping and kicking dirt and like Tommy Lasorda, Billy Martin, even Sparky did it a couple of times.
Lou Piniella, Lloyd McClendon throwing the base.
Yep.
Boston
Paul, how do you feel about the ABS?
I like it. I think it adds accuracy or helps slowing the game down. I'm going to give you a couple of stats that I put together. How many challenges per game do you think is going on right now?
Probably maybe 2 at most.
It's 4 and about 14 seconds per challenge. So people say, "Oh, well, we're trying to get the game over faster, and this is taking no. It only adds a minute to a game. 53% of the challenges called are overturned, showing the players are using challenges strategically rather than obvious calls. Catches have been the most effective challenges. Did you know that? 58%, 47% for hitters, 36% for pitchers. I think some biggest wins on this is instead of long arguments with umpires and controversial calls and that are resolved in seconds, just keeping the game going, moving. Many players initially skeptical have praised the system, improving the fairness without replacing human element. I like it. I didn't think I would because, here's more control, but not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Jamie?
Me, I'm all about, I'm all about getting calls right and not worry about having to argue. Yeah, this is actually the one good thing, in my opinion, that I think is making the game better with all the negatives with the other stuff. This is the one positive about the modern day baseball, in my opinion, is the ABS.
I tend to agree. I haven't seen it make a game last too long. To your point, the 14 seconds. I loved it when the one ump goes, "Yeah, he's going to lose this challenge. He got it wrong. It's a strike." He said it out while the mic was still hot while they were doing the replay, and they confirmed it was a strike. It was hilarious, but that was great because he called his own shot. He goes, "Oh, that's a strike. It's on the black." So, it's nice when an ump knows he was right too. Yeah. When a batter's just like, "Oh no, that's off the plate." No, it wasn't. Some guys are actually accurate. There's guys you can accurate. There's that one. Who's that one guy? Was it Jim Vest? Oh my God, he had the widest and tallest strike zone of any ump out there. I'm glad he doesn't
Well,
ump behind the plate anymore.
And it's about 50-50. It's a little bit more overturned, 53% overturned. So I mean that's really good, actually. That's encouraging for umpires who everybody picks on all the time. Oh, they don't get it right. 90%. That's not true. They do.
No,
get
what
it.
It's a
I'm
very
saying is
difficult thing.
the ABS is getting it right 93 to 95% of the time is what I
Right.
was getting at. Not the
Oh, yes, yes.
challenges are right. I let me clarity. It's about the fairness of the game, and then it forces everything to be called the same.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you agree with that assessment, Claudio?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, at the end of the day, you want things to be done right. You want the calls to be as far as the slowness of the game. Maybe if there wasn't all these damn pitching changes, and there's a pitching coach in Pittsburgh, I don't know if you ever see him when he goes to the mound. A snail could beat him. It takes him an hour and a half to watch 60 minutes. I know he's trying to slow them. I know he's trying to, stop the momentum. I know I do that. I don't walk that damn slow. I couldn't walk that slow, when I'm 103. But that's beside the point. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor. I think there's things I'm not in favor of. The man at second base and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can't shift. You can't do this because now you're talking strategy. I don't like that. But to get the calls right, I'm in NFL. It's worked with the instant replay. They take a little long, but I'm fine with it. I am. Although you make a great point about the pitchers. They're trying to get that outside corner. They're trying that. I forgot which pitcher it was. Maybe it was Maddox. I don't know. They say he never threw a strike.
It was Maddox.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Maddox. Yeah, they were saying he never got a third strike that wasn't a third strike outside that was on the plate.
Right.
That's what they used to say.
I'm
right.
good with it.
So, Claudio, tell everybody, do you do any podcasts with anybody else or?
I do.
Okay.
I have my own podcast on ClaudioRelsano.com. I've had Ken Griffey Sr., Mario Andretti, Dick Vermeil. I've had a lot of former Pirates, Steelers. I've had them on. Then now I still interview people of that ilk, but I also kind of mix in some entrepreneurial content. Then I do another show called Talking Business and Life with Steve Mancini and Claudio Relsano, and that's what we do, talk business and life. Then I'm on Pittsburgh Radio with Ralph Williams and Smoke and Jim Frazier and Luther Dupree Jr. called Sports Corner on 1250 AM The Answer here in Pittsburgh. And then I do we used to be on TV, but the studio shut down. We do a show called Steel City Sports World with Luther Dupree Jr., Smoke and Jim Frazier, and myself. And they're all very informative, all entertaining shows. I used to host a boxing show, but again, the studio shut down. Hopefully we can do that again. But I really enjoy do the shows, have some great sponsors, which I appreciate, and love doing the shows. And I really appreciate doing this show. And I'm with the Global Scouting Bureau. I go to GSB Sports. And for my book and for my shows or more information on me, updates, you can go to ClaudioRelsano.com. Even if you butcher the spelling, somehow it'll get you there. But I really appreciate you having me on the show. You guys were great, and I hope I added to the show a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Claudio. Boston Paul, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, right here, KCB Sports, Baseball Run Talks every Saturday night at 8 o'clock Central. I love doing this. Thank you guys so much. Next week, I just want to remind everybody, I will not be here. I'm on vacation with my wife.
Hey, that's important. Happy wife, happy life is what they say.
Yes. And it's very important. And but Jeremy, thank you for the opportunity you've given me. I appreciate you.
Jamie, introduce Claudio to the longest outro in Baseball Roundtable Talks history. Tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. So you guys can follow me, yours truly, on Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Tags on X, theforkball.com, and buffalodown.com. I write about all sports. You can also catch me at Joe Dalio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We just wrapped up season 3 of the Subway Conversation Chat this past Tuesday. So we're gonna be done with that, and now we're taking about a month off, and then later in the month him and I are going to be starting season 4 of the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room, our Bills podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun this season, a lot of in store about that. And then you can catch me every Tuesday night, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time on that same network, Driving the Top Productions for open mic night. And then every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, you can catch me here with me, Jeremy, Ken the Bears fan, Chicken Nugget, and other people out here for NFL Roundtable Talks. And then finally every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, you can catch me, Jeremy, Boston, Paul, Rich, Adam, and the usual crew for Baseball Roundtable Talks. So thank you guys very much for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're still getting really, really close to monetization. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications. For more content on Driving to the Top Productions, you can find us on Roku TV, Amazon TV, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. From all of us here, I'm Jamie Malloy, and this has been another episode of Baseball Roundtable Talks here on the KCB Sports Network. We will see you all next week, folks. Good night.
And as always, as I like to close my shows, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts within us. I want to thank each and every one of you that were in the chat talking to us as we were live. I want to thank Jamie, Boston Paul, and of course, Claudio Rialzano for being here, talking baseball, talking about some of the things that he's passionate about, as well as some of the things he does within the realm of Major League Baseball, college and high school, as well as worldwide. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you all have a very blessed day, and we will see you next time.